I'm pleased to introduce today's speakers, Karina Gallardo and Weishan Lee.
I'm going to speak about the conclusions of the findings of this study. First of all, I'm going to explain about the trait clusters. We find that this approach is useful in order to simplify the breeder's challenges to assign program priorities. Doing the analysis by an individual basis on traits we found it was not feasible to do it. Also, the importance of consumer-driven forces when breeders select for traits for their programs. In general, consumer-driven forces positively impacted breeders' likelihood of selection for traits, more than did producers and breeders' own experience. So this finding goes a little bit against what normally it's anecdotal observation said that breeders' own experience is the most influential criterion when breeders select for traits in their program. We found that it's not the case. It's consumer-driven forces which drives breeder selection of traits for their programs. Technical challenges. We found that they obviously negatively affected the likelihood of selecting for sensory quality and plant habit. We found that societal challenges will also negatively impact the likelihood of selecting for trait clusters. Specific trait clusters were biotic, abiotic resistance, yield season, and phytonutrient content. So from findings from other papers and also for anecdotal evidence and talking with people who know about these topics, it's basic when breeders are asked about their challenges, everybody points out to funding. But it's not the case. It's not what we found in this study. We found that technical challenges are one of the most important barriers for breeders to select for specific traits, along with societal challenges. Breeding programs started in the fresh market have a higher likelihood of selection for most trait clusters in the study, more than breeders that are targeting the processing market. And another conclusion of this study is to help assess the complex nature of rosaceous breeding. There are multiple traits that impact the final fruit product, and along with those traits, breeders have to take into consideration the profitability and the production environment for that final product. So we again emphasize the results from this survey and this study emphasize the complex nature of rosaceous breeding programs. What are the implications of this study? In this study, we provide initial information. This initial information is useful to recognize a smaller group of individual traits to focus on and include in further studies eliciting values from supply chain stakeholders. So we identify what trait clusters are the ones that are more important or are given more priority from breeders. Also, this study improves the understanding from stakeholders and funding agencies. When there are funding, where there are this funding availability, it is important to understand what challenges are faced by breeders and help align the priorities with the needs of the entire supply chain. So breeders are not alone in this effort. They are part of this supply chain, and also to understand how the priorities of the breeding programs are aligned with the priorities of the entire supply chain is important and will give input to stakeholders and funding agencies. This is all what I have. I would like to acknowledge all the institutions that are affiliated or are associated with the Rose Breed project, especially to our sponsor, which is the USDA, the NIFA, the Specialty Crop Research Initiative. And if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer them. Thank you.